Hello and thank you for tuning in. My name is Kelvin Bugner and this is my 2005 Volkswagen Touareg V6. And in today's video, what we're going to do is we'll do a review of the insides and the outside, the good and the bad, and show you guys what it is like to own a Volkswagen Touareg T1. This vehicle is also equipped with 22-inch wheels from actual Porsche Cayenne Turbo S. So Volkswagen, Audi, and Porsche all share the same chassis, which also shares a lot of parts that fits. So today we're looking at the Volkswagen Touareg, and we're going to expect and show you guys what are the neat treats to have a 2005 model, which back in 2005 you would never see this much options and features that you will see in a normal SUV like a Isuzu Rodeo or a Ford Explorer back in 2005. This 2005 vehicle is equipped with HID headlights, heated leather seats, memory seats, heated mirrors, auto adjusting headlights, four-wheel disc brakes. For the US model, it was offered with only 3 engine trims: the 3.2 liter and 3.6 liter VR6, V10 as being the second option, V10 turbo diesel. Later on, with the Gen 2 and the Gen 3, offered a V6 TDI model. This vehicle in particular is a 2005 with a 3.2 liter VR6 engine, which has 240 horsepower. This vehicle also is equipped with a full-time all-wheel drive setup with a holodeck type rear transfer case that allows a full-time all-wheel drive system. This vehicle was particularly built by Volkswagen to enhance an off-road experience versus all the other traditional vehicles that offered a SUV. The Volkswagen Touareg is also the first German SUV to actually have full-time all-wheel drive, their traditional VR6 engine. The engine in this is a beefed up 3.2 liter V6. Me personally, I use this vehicle for long distance road trips. You could take this vehicle back and forth and drive 450 miles to the tank and drive basically anywhere. The VR6 engine that's equipped with this Touareg is the Volkswagen's most reliable engine. Now, if you were to purchase a Touareg, a lot of people will go after the V10 model. The V10 model is a very powerful engine. However, the V10 model also has a lot of issues and a lot of maintenance. For example, the alternator for the V10 is located in the center of the engine. You'd have to remove the top intake manifold to even gain access to the actual alternator to remove and replace if you have a charging problem on the Touareg. Now, the 4.2 liter V8 is also not really the best engine. It's a really powerful engine, but however, it is not the most reliable engine. You will also have timing belt issues where the vehicle will also throw misfire faults and it'll give you a long problem, and it's very kind of tricky to diagnose. Now, where this vehicle, it has the 3.2 liter V6, VR6 I should say, it's the most reliable engine. You could take this vehicle road tripping and go many places, many miles, and not really worry about all the common issues. Now, I am not saying that the VR6 is like bulletproof, and well, pretty much I am saying the vehicle is bulletproof, but what I'm saying is out of the other options of engines, the VR6 is the less common to give you problems down the road. The only issue I could say with the VR6 model is the timing chain. Now, for the Touareg and for all VR6 engines, in order for you to replace the top chain and the lower chain, you're going to have to drop the engine and separate the engine from the transmission from this vehicle. I know that sounds like a lot, but to be honest with you, that's really the major problem with these vehicles. Now, they also have issues with transfer cases going bad. Now, a lot of people are going to say this vehicle has 22-inch wheels. The 22-inch wheels are even laid out, so they're 22 by 2s all around, and I don't see an issue so far because I've been driving it for almost 1 year and it has not given me a problem since. Now, the common issues with the Touaregs are the brakes really don't last as long. They do stop pretty well. They're very expensive. All Touaregs came standard with Brembo brake pads, Brembo rotors. If you want the best, you have to use the best. And I think Brembo is the perfect setup on this vehicle for the weight and distribution of what this vehicle holds. Now, the next common thing that goes wrong with this vehicle, and my vehicle has experienced this problem, is the vacuum boosters. The vacuum boosters, they all go wrong. What happens is Volkswagen, they have a hard plastic vacuum hose that runs from the secondary air injection to the actual brake booster. Now on the Touareg, it is located from the air box all the way to the window cowl, and it goes all the way to the brake booster, which is behind the steering wheel. Now, when that goes bad, it's pretty labor intensive to actually remove and replace, but pretty much that's really the simple things that really go wrong with these vehicles. My only issue I ever had with my Touareg is that the fuel pumps stopped working, and this vehicle takes 2 fuel pumps. Now, if I were you, if you're having the same issue what I had, where going up hills, the vehicle would stall out, and when the fuel pumps were going bad, the actual fuel pumps pretty much wouldn't let me go over 40 miles an hour. What I end up doing is going to the dealership and buying 2 brand new fuel pumps and installing it myself. And I'm gonna say right now, it is not an easy job. There's a lot of vacuum lines you have to remove and replace, but I've done it, and so far it's been almost 1 year since I've replaced it, and so far I've not had a problem. I've driven perhaps 1,000 miles since I replaced both fuel pumps. And to be honest with you, if you have the same issues what I described, where you're running rough, you're stalling going up hills, change both fuel pumps. You're gonna put yourself in a rabbit's hole if you replace one, because when you replace one, it's really gonna be the other. And in order for you to replace one, you kind of have to disconnect both of them to actually gain access to separate one from another, because they're both they're actually connected inside the gas tank. And also, if you're doing this yourself, I highly recommend you do not do this with a full tank. Make sure the gas light is on, it's dead on E, that when you actually open the rear seat and lift up the carpet and see the 2 holes, you will see that you'd have to remove both fuel pumps. And when you remove both fuel pumps, there's connectors that are connected to each other that you have to separate inside of the fuel pump. The fuel tank. So once you do that now, you're gonna put everything together. Now, the VR6 engine is, to me, by far my favorite Volkswagen engine, because it's very simple. The spark plugs are really this easy to change. The belts are right here. The alternator is really right here. So everything is easy access versus the V10 or the 3-liter turbo diesel models. Now, Volkswagens, pretty much the VR6s are set up as an inline 6 setup. So the whole vehicle is inline straight 6. Now, the common issue, like I stated before, is the vacuum booster from here that goes all the way through and travels and runs through the firewall and goes all the way to the brake booster that's located underneath this right here. So in order for you to fix that concern, you'd have to remove all of these things to replace that vacuum leak concern. Now, I don't know if you can hear, I also realize that I'm facing that same problem right now, because if you operate, you can tell my brake booster is also failing right now. So that's the next project, and that will be a next video. All right, so from the video before, you can see where my hissing sound is, and I'm gonna show you. That's how easy it is to remove my check engine light. So what I'm gonna do, use electric tape, use this end, I'm gonna tape it up very tightly. Make sure that it's secured and tight. Now, as long as it's secured, all I gotta do is just force it back in the hole and bam, secured. And that's how quick and easy. For right now, this is gonna be a temporary fix until it's time for me to actually replace the whole entire line that goes straight to the brake booster. So this is one check valve that's been repaired, or should I say temporarily patched. So right now, I am done. So all I have to do is clear my check engine light and I'm good to go. So right now I'm gonna fire up and we're gonna go for a road test. Now the interior of this vehicle has a dark gray interior with a brown wood grain finish. It's actually, this is real wood grain. Another common problem with the Touaregs is the drive shafts. A lot of people complain and say that you hear a heavy vibration coming from the center of the console. That is due to your drive shaft bushing wearing out. When that wears out, when you take off and accelerate, or when you come into a complete stop, the vehicle begins to vibrate. When I purchased this vehicle, it actually had a factory CD player radio. I had removed it and installed a DVD navigation head unit inside, which I purchased online. The thing I love about the Touareg is that it's very smooth on the highway. Right now I'm doing 65 miles an hour and it feels like I'm skating on ice. Especially with these 22s, this truck is nice on the road. These Gen 1 Touaregs are actually getting pretty cheap. You can find the Touareg for very cheap these days. They're going for sale for about $3,500. That's only for the base model. But if you wanted the V10 turbo diesel, which ended its production in America in 2007, I believe, you can find those for about $18,000 to $20,000. Because that, my friend, that is a beast of an engine. That engine is known to actually tow a 747 plane. All engine, no modification, and you can buy that vehicle straight from the dealership. Why you should buy a Touareg, I honestly could say, is that they're pretty reliable. I've had mine for almost a year and a half and it's been running very good. It's very comfortable on long road trips. The thing I like about the Gen 1, aka the T1 Touaregs, is that they're pretty affordable, I would say, nowadays, and it has a lot of features that's on the newer Volkswagen Touaregs and the Audi Q7 and our Bentley Bentayga, and also the Porsche Cayenne. Why you should buy a Touareg, I would say, is that you can't find nothing like this, that with the value for what you're getting out there on the road like this. Mind you, this is a 2005. What other vehicle in 2005 where you're going to get heated seats on both sides, power memory seats on both sides, sun visor, well, every car has a sun visor, sunroof, real wood, heated steering wheel, man, I tell you. There's buttons on the side right here, on the right side and on the left side, that you just push to either turn off the lights on the steering wheel and turn on the heat. Now the heat only applies if the vehicle is less than 30 degrees Celsius, I believe, or 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and it'll activate the heated steering wheel, which is pretty cool for a truck in 2005. In 2005, you're not going to see a dash that does 160 miles an hour on there. You're not going to see a vehicle in 2005, or I'm sorry, an SUV in 2005 that has a sticker that tells you the top speed is 130. What other SUV do you know that goes 130? Mind you, I don't want anybody to go 130. I'm just saying, they put a sticker on it. So that concludes my review for the 2005 Volkswagen Touareg. Please like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for watching.